Hi all. Over the past month or so, I've been fiddling around with Unity, trying to implement a 2D controller, and I wanted to handle all sorts of mechanics, from basic movements like jump, to ledge grabbing, to ducking, picking up and throwing objects, taking cover, and much more. It's like health, strength, speed, and some sort of unlockable abilities like double jump and special attacks. And I also plan to use 2D inverse kinematics for fluid animations and have it work with both tile maps and custom scaled objects. But I also want the platforming to feel good and the controls tight and responsive. So I would experiment with some concepts like coyote time, movement smoothing, variable jumps, and all that good stuff which comes with single dimensional quadratic equations. More on that will be in the upcoming video, and maybe by the end of it we would make it into a Unity asset if possible. uh, we can add much more features like there being multiple playable characters like an RPG or something. Alright, but that's all in the upcoming videos. For now, let's discuss our basic architecture on how to achieve this. So first up is player movement, and as the name suggests, it handles players' movement across the world. That would consist of moving in the x-axis and the y, and also handling jump and other interaction. So next we have a controller 2D.cs, and that would calculate our collisions and translate them into movements, and basically letting us know when we can move or when we should stop. It would manipulate our velocity accordingly, and it will send it to our player movements class. So it basically works as an observer class, which is a design pattern we often use in programming. Then we have our player attributes.cs. This is just a container class to hold all our parameters or data, that is our stats in general. Then we have our raycast controller.cs, and it handles parameters which are separate from what we need for player. This is common for any object in the scene which needs raycast across its length and width, and that we will be retrieving here. And controller 2D, which is the class which player has, would inherit from raycast controller. Then on a separate object apart from our player, we'll have our player manager.cs and player input.cs. So player manager.cs is just a bridge across the script. It will have our event handlers and which the player can subscribe to, and it will receive data from our player input and various other sources as we progress. And player input, as the name suggests, will hold our controls logic related to them, and it will read our controls from the input system that we have in Unity. So now to understand how all of them are linked, we receive our input from player input, and it triggers our event listeners on player manager, and the player movement.cs, which is inside our player game object, is subscribed to the events present in player manager, and it also holds reference to player attributes so that it can which is a child of raycast controller, and hence it can accurately provide us with the velocity needed to traverse the path which is in front of us, or the platform on which we are standing. So that's all for this video guys, and in the next episode we would implement this system. So until then, goodbye.